I can tell you, living here and firsthand information, overall, I mean, Canadian people in general are doing worse, but apparently it's youth most affected in this case. But yes, Canadian youth are doing worse, struggle with friendship and bullying. Yeah, I could kind of see that. Okay, you can okay, it's not something that I tend to frequent around. Okay, you don't need to find me on a list or anything like that, but whenever I'm past the school or something like that, seeing very fragmented segments of children, more so. Okay, it's not like I'm really paying that close of attention, but at the same time, there's a lot of lonely kids that are out there. Okay, so yeah, this it really does kind of follow. But let's take a look. A global study from UNICEF suggests that Canadian kids are unhappy and with social struggles such as bullying and difficulty making friends among the source of their anguish. Well, I mean, you take a look at the demographic breakdowns of most of modern Canada, especially in certain cities, and it kind of makes sense that they're going to have a tough time assimilating. Now, UNICEF's 19th report card suggests 1 in 5 youth in Canada face frequent bullying, 1 in 5 are lonely, and 1 in 4 struggle to make friends. Kind of surprised it's only like 1 in 4 and 1 in 5 here. I thought it would be worse than that. It blames bullying in particular for a drop in life satisfaction reported by 15-year-olds, down 3 percentage points to 76% since 2018. That marks Canada's biggest slide among categories examined by the report, which compares the well-being of Canadian children to those in other wealthy countries between 2018 and 2022. Despite being among the 10 wealthiest countries studied, Canada ranks 19th out of 36 countries overall. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Okay, landing toward the bottom end of adolescent suicide, shit. Child mortality and social skills. The head of the Early Learning Unit in Vancouver University of British Columbia said that the findings are especially disappointing since Canada should have the resources to address youth struggles. But yeah, no, they only care about certain youths, not the ones that are like, the born and bred here, but whatever, and the societal factors that exacerbate them. Children in many ways are doing worse. The supports are decreasing rather than increasing, said Dr. Mariana Brusoni, Director of Human Early Learning Partnership. The children are part of families, which are part of communities and part of neighborhoods. Thanks, Doc. I'm so glad you got your PhD in order to come through with that statement. And societies, we belong in a society. We live in a society, in fact. So it's not just children that are struggling. You have to think about everything that surrounds them, and we've seen how parents are struggling and how communities are having hard times. So what exactly is causing that? I digress. The companion report, also released Tuesday, that focuses on the Canadian findings, say bullying is a major contributor to lower life satisfaction. Yeah, we already know that. Okay, Canada ranked 28th out of 41 for social skills, with 1 in 4 15-year-olds saying that it's not easy to make friends in school, slightly more than the report's average and part of a worrisome trend. The report puts a spotlight on the areas we need prioritized for children and youth, their health, safety, education, and happiness. Sevon Patizian, President and CEO of UNICEF Canada, said in the press release, "I'm deeply disappointed by how the life satisfaction of children and youth in Canada is falling. Good mental health is the foundation for childhood, yet it continues to be overlooked." Yeah, and as somebody who had quite a few struggles in school, like, okay, yeah, this is, hey man, it's definitely tracking along my own childhood experience. I wasn't exactly somebody who was the most popular out there. I was, just big, tall, and, just fat as a motherfucker growing up, okay? I was a goofy looking kid, okay? 6 foot, tall in 4th grade, 250 pounds by the time I was in 6th grade. But overall, just kind of a giant pushover at the same time. Like, I looked intimidating, but there was just nothing really to back it up. And so, yeah, if you look soft and you are soft, you're gonna get bullied. That just tends to happen. And, well, I would argue that kind of made me the person who I am today, and it does in fact build quite a bit of character. But depending on the type of bullying we're dealing with here, it could be a little bit different. Okay. Calling for fundamental policy change to our education funding and healthcare systems so every child and young person has the opportunity to thrive. A study of the UN Children's Fund notes social skills largely held steady during the unusual time period when the coup upended daily routines for many families. Because, yeah, that right there, I mean, even though we are, heading on 6 years on from the lockdown, can you believe that? Holy shit, man. We're starting to finally see all of the downstream effects effects of just what happens when you have a bunch of Karens in charge, fucking upending society. Now we're having to deal with the consequences of that year plus lost. And we knew it wouldn't be good at the time. It's just we didn't know how bad things were ultimately going to get and how quickly it was going to manifest. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.